people are really gonna watch this?
They ain't got nothing else to do.
Right?
Word.
I ain't going on social media talking shit about TDS Radio. I know that much.
My man, Coach Block.
What's up, cuz? How we living?
You're rocking with TDS Radio.
Get it, Kim. All right. She got a vision, and she wants us to execute this vision.
Ooh, man. That's what TDS is about today.
Ken and Kim are the two dopest siblings that I know.
All right, man. You ready?
Am I ready? Are they ready? What's up? What is up with this? There we go. What's up? It's your man, Coach Block, one half of TDS Radio, and I am here with
your girl so fab. Hey, y'all.
And
Hey, I'm Dr. Jan.
So, if y'all remember last time we were on and we kept saying, we can't get you on. This was the young lady we were trying to get on. Sorry about that.
And that was our fault.
It was StreamYard's fault.
Well, yeah, that's
StreamYard, y'all do that again. We want our money. Man, you messing people up. Like, you can't do that, man. Come on now. So, how was everybody's day?
Wonderful.
Is the sound? My sound?
No, it's me.
Oh, okay. Everybody's day good? How's everybody?
Fantastic.
Good.
Well, Dr. Jans, we do something, really quick before we get into the show. We call it the praise report.
Oh.
And we essentially talk about, things that we're grateful for, that we're happy about, especially considering that it's still the beginning of the week, even though it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to kick it off, or Ken, if you want to kick it off, or whatever.
The logo kicks it off.
Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta make sure we're there. Hold on. Okay, and I'm ready.
So it's the praise report on TDS Radio. This is the time we talk about, like Kim said, if something is good, bad, not bad. I ain't gonna have a bad praise report. Good praise report. Something good that's happened in the day to get you through that you can say, you know what, I'm happy about that. Our praise report is we just met with a young man, 32. I can say that now because I'm in the middle age as of tomorrow, like 44, so I can say things like young man. Met with a young man, an intelligent brother who was putting us onto a lot of things with tech that can help Kim and I streamline a lot of what you guys see, because the hardest part about some of this is we get done with these shows and then now you have to reproduce this information on social media, and a lot of people don't know how hard that is. So for him to show us ways to streamline it, that's a praise report.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. What about you, Dr. James?
Well, I showed up.
I know that's right.
That's a praise report. We will take it.
We're going today, girl.
Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah,
Now, so I showed up and I was me.
I know that's right.
I did a good job.
Hello. Talk to him.
Yes.
Is the music still playing?
Yep.
Turn it up.
Yes.
There we go. Good. So that's our praise report for the day. So if you guys got something, always put it in the comment section. Let us know some things that you guys are also happy for and things that you want to do. You want us to shout out your praise reports.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
Am I going to quickly do birthdays or nah?
Nah.
Okay.
We can do this tomorrow. And then tomorrow you get to celebrate yours. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
44.
bowler. What made me feel really good today was, straight up, one of the students said, I didn't think you was 44. I was like, word?
I can tell you how old he thought you were, though.
Younger. He thought I was like 38, 37, 38 years old.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I said, nah, man, I'm old.
I was like, yep. Mm-hmm.
Then when I told him how old my oldest was, he was like, for real? Then it got dark. He's like, man, you are old. I'm like, well, relax. Let's stay where we was at.
40 is the old.
So, but it felt good. Like, 44? No, we never thought, Coach. Like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the old guy that looks old.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's a blessing to live then.
It is. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow with birthdays.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Probably should have stayed where I was at. So
There we go.
today is Embodi Balance with Dr. James.
Yes.
Hi, Dr. James.
Hello.
So what are we discussing today?
Well, let's do round two because, like you said, last week was not on our side. So this week, Dr. Jens is in the building. Typically, we're on Wednesday, but we have you today, and it's National Stress Awareness, which I think a lot of our people need to be mindful of. A lot of women and men need to be mindful of. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my favorite topic.
Even though we're trying to do better with self-care.
I know. Look, I tell people, I'm training a girl at work, and I was like, don't do what I say. Don't do as I do. Do what I say.
No, that's right.
It's like talking to your kids. You have to take time for yourself. And I spoke at this conference on Saturday about unhealed trauma and the effects from that. And, my endpoint was, in all things, take care of yourself.
Right.
You get one you, so you treat her good, him or her good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think people really understand just how much unhealed trauma can, show up in different ways in your body. A huge part of that could be stress.
Yeah.
Some of the triggers that you don't realize, and then your body going into fight or flight mode. And it can be wear and tear.
It is. It's so many effects, GI, cardiovascular. Stress itself can put you in the hospital and in a coma or 6 feet under.
Hello.
Yeah. And so it's hard to, we all deal with stress. We all deal with it in different ways. And so I've learned from me that I carry stress different, but when I'm stressed and it's at the peak, physically, I'm done.
Now, how do you carry your stress?
So I usually just take it all in, pray about it, and I might talk about it a little bit, and I just like, and I just keep going. And I just pack it in my little bag. I always have to pack it in my suitcase and carry it with me, leave it where I need to leave it, and pick it up on my way out, and just keep going until I am burned out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to talk about burnout too before we, but first, Ken, how do you carry your stress?
It depends on which stress, because different stressors affect me differently. So like if it's work, it's muscular. And I'll feel it in like my shoulders. I carry it in my shoulders and things like that. If it's like family related, my blood pressure shoots through the roof. You know what I'm saying? So if there's things like that, like I've learned that about myself now. And then even when I was coaching, so coaching wouldn't be muscular, it would be my blood pressure. So like last year, I didn't know I had high blood pressure until just one time we were coaching and the lights got super bright. I'm like, what is the problem? And I ignored it. Only to go to the doctors because I was working to get my CDL license. And they're like, you got a problem. I'm like, what problem is that? And it was my blood pressure. It was 181 over 102.
Wow.
Yeah.
On your way to stroke level.
Yeah. So now I'm down now. So my last doctor's appointment 2 weeks ago, I'm at 125 over 80 something.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
Good.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So Dr. Jens, because, for those of you who may not know, Dr. Jens is a nurse practitioner. What are some of the signs of stress that people might not realize?
So, as Coach mentioned, high blood pressure, but you may experience like headaches, dizziness. Some people can experience chest pain, can go that far. Tightness, like here in your upper body, that's a lot. You talked about carrying it here. I definitely, and I know when I walked in earlier, I was like, ooh. And so we tend to carry it muscular, like for a lot of women here in the upper shoulder area. But you can have headache, fatigue, and honestly could be some symptoms of depression, like you're not wanting to be around people. You're kind of closing yourself off. So it can be it can present in different ways for different people.
Is it possible for stress to be misdiagnosed?
It could, it could be, it can.
Okay.
And that is because when you go to the doctor, they're looking at like your vital signs, your blood work, and all those things instead of like mentally having that conversation about, to see if there's like been some extra stressors in your life. I mean, I think since this election, if I'm honest, it has been a lot of stress, and you see it on social media.
Yes.
People are worried and they're talking about just different things and all the things that are happening. I mean, I understand the stress and the concern, but you have to refocus and remember who you are, whose you are, and keep doing what you're doing. That's easier said than done.
So one thing that Ms. Varner had mentioned, which I actually looked up because I remember her saying that about stress, is that Mondays are when the most heart attacks happen. 11% increase of heart attacks happen on Monday than any other day of the week.
Because you're going back to work. You had this weekend of relaxing, doing a lot of things, and now you got to go. You look forward to Monday, and whatever your work day may look like or what your work is, it can be stressful. I see patients all day, and that can be stressful because you're listening to all these people and you're pouring into everybody.
Lord, I know that's right.
And then you have your coworkers, that you're surrounded by, that you're listening, you're pouring into them.
Right.
So it's a lot of people. You get home, you have your family that you're pouring into, and you're, so you're absorbing all of everybody's things, and so you have to, figure out what you can separate yourself from.
Right.
And that's hard to do for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And then also the signs of burnout, because I'm pretty sure you've seen it a lot, where some people have gotten so bad to the point where it is now going into depression. It's going into isolation. It's gotten to the point where they just don't want to do anything because they've hit their limit.
They've hit their limit. And, and unfortunately, you have a lot of employers that don't recognize that, or they choose to not to, right? Because it's easier for you to show up and just give me something instead of taking that break. You take some time, get some FMLA.
Right.
And I've seen that all too often. People, they have, you try to balance work and life, and it's hard to do for a lot of people. I've balanced it for a long time. So I won't say it's easy because it's not.
Right.
You just learn to kind of navigate life and work and business and children and husband, friends, and try to split your time. But you have to know when to say no, and enough is enough. And you have to know that self-care is important because nobody's going to take care of you like you do.
Right.
And so if you need a mental health day, you take that day, and everything is going to, like, the world is not going to come crashing down. Work ain't going to crash and burn. Business is not going to crash and burn. But what will crash and burn is you, who's the essential piece of that puzzle.
Hello.
I just had that issue with my job a week ago, because it was a Friday when it hit. And everybody thought that, you just trying to take off a Friday to have an extended weekend. But I literally told them in the office, I hit my wall. Well, I hit my wall. Yep. I'm done with these kids. But as you said, the in their mind, well, what are we going to do? I don't know.
Do what you did before I was working here.
I don't know. But
you have plans in place for people to call out or need to leave early.
Right.
It's just the nature of the beast.
Take your time.
You have to. And I think as employers, and even having my own business, I know that I need to take a step back and realize, I have boundaries too.
Yeah.
When I first started, it was taking every phone call, every message, and I've learned to put that phone to the side, and if that business line ring and I'm on my downtime, then it will be okay. And I still I don't want to miss a person,
Right.
But also, I might miss a person if I don't not take that phone call.
Correct.
Right.
So it's essential.
Do you guys feel like, especially in the medical industry, because you guys don't get a lot of off days, especially when it considers holidays and stuff like that, you're constantly going. Do you guys feel like jobs just don't care, or they're hoping that you will actually stand up and advocate for yourself?
So
when it comes to stress.
Yeah. So being in leadership, I feel part of it is, I'm being honest. It's, I hear you got a problem. I'm so sorry, but I also need you here, right? Instead of, I know you have this issue. That's horrible. I need you to take a day.
Right.
that is what's missing. And we're all too often we're in our working environments and we're tired, we're burned out, we're getting to work, we're struggling. You know, people are just having hard times and you're having to leave, but it shouldn't get to that point.
Right.
And we shouldn't be in an environment where it's not okay for us to not talk about it and recognize those signs that people are burning out and they're struggling. I mean, some people can't cope with a lot of stress and a lot of burnout because they're ready to go somewhere and cause harm to themselves, you know, back in 2022, we went through an issue with my oldest son was assaulted and harassed and assaulted locally. That could have almost taken me out. Like I have never felt so empty in my life. I had to show up even in the midst of my me struggling.
Right.
I still had to show up and it was hard. I mean, that was hard. And I should have been, because I'm like, oh, I'll just still go to work because, you know, that's what we got to do.
Right.
But looking back, even my doctor said, you should have called me. You should have reached out to me. And I should have, but being me, I still show up because that environment doesn't give you that comfortability to say, I need some mental time and I'm taking this time off.
That raggedy ass third shift job I had. I'm sorry, because I shouldn't have hit after, because but talk about it. The raggedy ass third shift job, y'all know who y'all are, called me at my mother's funeral.
Oh, wow.
There was somebody that said, man, why didn't you put your phone away? Because they were watching it virtually. And I was like, because the phone kept buzzing. So I'm thinking it's somebody who may have wanted to be at the funeral. Like, where am I supposed to go?
Still don't.
So I slid my phone out and it said learning services. I know the hell y'all didn't. So as soon as we was done, I said, well, I'm currently at
burying my mother.
At my mother's. Oh, we're so sorry. We thought it was yesterday.
It doesn't matter.
Like, give
Learning
me that time.
services.
People are just don't care.
Y'all can kiss my entire ass. It was moments after that I just said I was done with them. Yeah. Because at that point in time, you guys could care less about
me as a person. And you want me to show up in my wholeness, right? And do a good job. But also, you could care less about what I look like, what I've been through, just as long as I have a body to do the work. Like, no.
Yeah, because that job was about ratio. You have to have a certain amount of ratio to this, so they can get in legal trouble. So they need you to be there. But I'm like, damn, I told y'all I'm at my mother's funeral, literally.
Right. And I think that that's one thing where leadership has got to do a better job. And we just talked about discernment, but having that level of discernment of just like, I might be in a bind, but we're going to figure it out because this person is going through something. And that speaks volumes more if you allow that people to go through whatever it is that they're going through. Like you said, I'm going through the fact that my son was assaulted. You know, I'm going through the fact that I'm burying my mother. Allow them to process that because they're going to come back. You know, I'm going to come back, but allow me to process that. And I would appreciate that more as an employee if you give me that time. You know, but it's just there's so many people in leadership positions that don't know how to lead or pivot or figure things out. Yeah. So it's just like, well, you just need to be here. No, you need to be a human being and have a heart. And like you said, now this is a trickling effect because now I'm stressed because I'm worried about my job. Right. Am I going to have my job? Is it going to be a problem? Am I going to be called into the office? Are they going to tell me something? And it's like now, instead of me actually going through what I need to go through, here's the stress on top of everything else.
And then you do something wrong, you got to give an answer for that. So, it's just and then it's packing on. Yes. And then you're to the point where I know for me, it was like one day I was like, oh, one more thing. I was like, that's the straw. And I had to stop myself because I threw my hand up and I said, I own it, and I walked out. Because had I not done that, in that moment, I probably would be full-time.
Happened to one of my homies. She was asked to work overtime. By the same raggedy ass company that called me. She was asked to work overtime. Then she had worked third shift. There was nobody there as a med tech. She had to give meds. Oh. She missed one of the meds. Now you figure she just got off a third shift, so they were literally running her. Overtime. Okay. And they asked you to work overtime. She missed one of the meds. And the second shift supervisor, instead of saying like we can make this work, went and told on her. They fired her.
Wow.
She was doing y'all a favor. There was no med tech, so she had to do meds, and literally it was one of those situations where it was like an unwritten rule. If you work third shift and you go into working the first shift, they don't put you on meds because you have to be so detail oriented when you're passing the meds.
Yeah.
She was the only one there. She did it, missed one medication, one pill, and they fired her.
Wow.
So tell me how messed up that is. She could have went home.
Yes.
She was doing y'all a favor. At least just write her up if that, because I mean there is protocol with medication, but to fire her, come on, man.
Yeah.
But also, who's supervising and why they knew this girl was working overtime and coming off a night shift, working in the morning.
Mhm.
No,
There's no way you're in your right mind.
Not at all. Because I worked third shift nights, for a while through school. And just to get home, 15-minute drive was a struggle. So I couldn't imagine pulling out no meds, giving it to nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I only missed one.
She missed
And
one.
only missed one.
I
That's
think she did
actually
phenomenal.
She missed one
Yeah.
in a 20-patient unit.
But they should have a protocol on people working like that.
It was to not do it. She wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
They got her up out of there though.
That's
No,
insane.
no, that's
insane.
Yeah.
So then when we talk about things like that, like stress and burnout and all of that, does it affect also your immune system?
It can. It will definitely affect your immune system because your system is such, we talked about fight or flight, and your body is in such a, fight or flight mode all the time that your body's not even repairing itself. Like you're not probably sleeping well, you're not eating well. So your immune system is naturally going to respond to that. So it's in such a repair mode that it doesn't even have time to respond to anything that's, fighting. So your body now, that's why people get colds and things like that when they're immune, because your immune system is so impaired. So it's a trickle effect. And not only that, mentally, it just burns your brain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole effect on your body.
So then how do we do better? Because I'm pretty sure, we all have identified, stress and what it looks like. I'm pretty sure you guys watching have experienced stress if you're not currently stressed out. Because, like you said, the one thing is you have to realize that you got to relax your shoulders because sometimes our shoulders are up here without even realizing it. Relax your jaw, and even just going through the day of just breathing.
Yeah. Because
there's been times where I would, see my coworkers or even myself, and I have to remind myself, you're not breathing at all.
Yeah.
And as you said, like now your heart rate's starting to go up and things are
anxiety.
Yes.
Things that you've never experienced. I had anxiety one day and I thought, surely I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's scary. And even for women, heart attack present differently. So what I tend to do is I tell people, take a moment. One of the things I've always said, even at work, I would take a step away, for 5-minute walk. You can go outside and catch some nice breeze or something. Or what I like to do now is if I miss like a Sunday service message, I'll go and find a message. I'll pop my earbuds in and I'm listening to the word while I'm at work. Or I'll pop in my music and listen to something that's calming. For me, it's always gospel music. And so I do that. I'll sit at work and I might be, on my computer, or if I'm at the suite, I'll have music on. But that, for me, the suite is my space. Like no matter what I'm feeling, like I could be walking in tired, but it's like it's a renewed feeling for me. But if I'm sitting at work, I'll pop my earbuds in and listen to a message or listen to my music. So whatever it is, I tell people, whatever that thing looks like for you that you can do to relax, to get your mind free, or, do that meditation, taking deep breaths is good. Find a counselor or a mental health therapist too, because they can help you unpack some of these things. And it shouldn't be a stigma, especially in the Black community.
Right.
We do need therapists, and it's okay. Someone had a shirt on this therapist that was talking Saturday, Jesus plus therapy.
Hello.
What a great combination.
Hello. Yeah. Now, and you mentioned something that was extremely important, and I want people to pay attention to and also look for the signs of anxiety and a panic attack.
Oh, yeah.
Because having a panic attack can be extremely frightening.
It is.
So what are some of the signs so that people don't confuse it for something else?
Yeah, so heavy breathing is one. When you're feeling like you're having some chest tightness here and you find it difficult to breathe, it starts anxiety. You feeling like nervousness. And if you notice that it happens around certain things or certain events or people, just you have to pay attention to that. Or have I been under high stress? And so it may take a little while for people to really truly know that's what it is. Full-blown panic attacks. I mean, you're almost on the verge of passing out for some people. And so learn those triggers and what those triggers are for yourself. It can come at high stress moments, and then it can come just like that, and you not realize that's what it is. Go to the emergency room to get checked, because you can't never say, oh, it's just anxiety and you having a heart attack.
Right.
So anything hurting in that chest, definitely. But I've noticed that I never had anxiety until I was getting my master's. But I was work night shift, and I had all these assignments to do. I got to work, all that stuff. So I was having a pretty severe anxiety attack, and I realized one day at work too. You walk in and you have all these stresses. You got things going on in your personal world, and you're walking into a place, and everybody is like chomping at you and telling you, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that," blah 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 blah. Instead of "Good morning, how are you?"
Girl, right? Goodness.
And so it was, I had this little gnawing feeling in my chest, and I realized if I walked out and I thought, like I felt okay. But I realized, like, I'm having anxiety. And, and I let it be known to my supervisor, because I was like, never will I work like that again.
Right.
Ever.
Right. And boundaries, and this question is for both of you, because like you said, for your job to call you while we're burying mom is diabolical. And then for the simple fact that your job is like, so you coming back in after what you've experienced with your son, like these are all traumatic moments.
Yeah.
And with these jobs not having boundaries, even friends not having boundaries, you and I have had conversations about that. Family members not having boundaries, when you're at that point where it's like, I can't handle another damn thing being thrown at me. How do you navigate when, as I mentioned, and for lack of better words, when your body is at that point of just like, look, I'm done. I'm done.
That's where you choose you. Through all that, I have learned that I can't do everything for everybody, because I need to do everything for me. Right. So I will sometimes, I'll see my phone ring and I'll just let it ring. I put it on vibrate purposely, because I don't have to hear it. And so I learned to listen to what I want to listen to. If I'm talking to a friend and we're talking and it's the same stuff, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, let me go.
All right, girl.
Or I just like, I can't today, and I just don't answer my phone. So you have to make that time to take for yourself, regardless of who it is. I don't care, even your kids. Even your kids, you love them dearly. They are okay for the most part, and if they're not, and so I just have to take a moment. Like sometimes I'll go get home from the day. Sometimes honestly I'll close my schedule.
I know that's right.
And I'm like, oh, I don't want to, but you have to. So I do a lot of things that, oh, I ain't seen you in a while. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm good. But you just can't be that for everybody. You have to show it for yourself first. And first and foremost, like always. Everybody else gonna be all right. And, I made the when I talked last week or Saturday, we talked about people always say, oh, well, they ain't call me. I'm fine with whoever don't call me.
Hello?
Because they may be dealing with some stuff. They may need some time. And truly, if I care, I'll just say, hey, text message, just checking on you. Hope you're good. I just wanted to make sure you're all right in the conversation. We don't have to talk or anything. Just checking on people sometimes. But I've learned to try and balance all of that. And so I have learned to take care of me and do something that I want to do for me every so often. I still struggle, like Kim said, but when it comes to like conversations and stuff, I don't no more. I can't even allow it, because for me, and I set a personal goal for me this year about my faith and religion, and that's my focus. That is my focus. Everybody else, I'll see you when I see you, or talk to you when I talk to you.
Like that.
Oh, you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Especially coming from the male perspective.
Oh, yeah.
What type of male?
Well, I'm just saying
Because there's different types.
Yeah, I was gonna say when it comes to boundaries, because sometimes
Yeah.
it could be seen as aggression or it could be seen as sassy,
Yeah.
So as a man, as a partner, as a father, as a friend, how do you exercise those boundaries when it's almost like the man is expected to provide and protect and all these things?
Well, you learn from the men in front of you. That's number one. And you learn and you have reminders that we die before women. And there's a reason why. And a lot of it is because of your stress and not handling the things that you need to handle internally and with doctor's appointments, right? And so communication is big, which a lot of men don't do when there are things going on. And also being okay with saying I need time and I need my space and I need to be able to just decompress as well. Because men just say, okay, well, just keep with the list, keep going. And that's not healthy either. I do need men to take more of an aggressive stance on their mental and emotional health, because suppressing things also turns into even more stresses. And
Right.
some of that stuff has been actually shown to create cancers.
Mhm.
So you don't want to keep suppressing. Go get a therapist, because the other part is it's your responsibility to take care of your mental health.
Right.
So, I also too, like you said, watch engagements as far as like what social media I engage, even what TV shows I watch. I cut the phone off when I'm driving because at least let me be able to get from point A to point B without the phone ringing. So literally do not disturb has become my friend. It's okay. They'll be there. I kind of got that from you because you ignore my calls. So I figured, let me try it out. It works. So I talked to you on Sunday. She made me feel like I was bothered. She's like, yeah, sure is. I'm like, oh, are you watching something? My bad. So, you. It's not. I don't think the one thing I want people to understand, and especially men, stress and all that stuff is not gender related at all. Like, don't think, it is a person thing. Like, you get what I'm saying? So men thinking that it's soft to express the fact that I've had enough, okay, well then your body will tell you and sit your ass down. And I think I have learned that as a guy. Like, I used to push myself to the limit. I would go from working third shift to going to work first shift and coaching football, sleep for 4 hours and do that shit all over again. I wish the hell I would. No. So
I've done that too.
it put me in the hospital. So I feel like, the motor that we get into because of the routines that we think we're supposed to have, you got to break those up. And like, even with me talking to you about, taking some time for my birthday, just for me, it's something that I've never done before, but I feel like it's needed to happen.
Needed.
Like, I just got to take some time for me, just a day, get myself right, and then I'll be right back with everybody. But it's okay to reset and refresh.
It absolutely is. It's needed.
Yeah, I think in this climate, it's definitely needed because everybody is on edge.
Yes.
I ain't meeting too many people that's just, hey, everything's cool. Nah, everybody's on edge.
Unless you're wealthy.
Even they're on edge because, like, money now is stressing everybody out, even if you got it, because how long am I going to keep it?
Because when the stock market crashed, people lost their jobs.
How long am I going to keep it? And, people with their jobs on the line right now, like one of our friends who, pops in and pops out, Lisa, like, she's like, it's so stressful being a government employee because you just never know. Yeah. And she's like, there's things that are set up with, retirement, things like that. All that stuff ties into it. Now imagine looking at that every single day when you wake up, there's emails and you see this many people are gone. This many people are gone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you don't know when you may be one of those people in that email. That's tough, man.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Is. Yeah, very much so. Because now you're messing with my livelihood. Yep. And it's going to be, can be hard to find another job.
Yeah.
It's just, it is sad.
Especially when these people, like, for example, her, she put in 19 years. Yeah. And then now you're talking about possibly if something like that happens, you having to start over.
Like that.
And I was just listening to the radio here, and the lady was talking to another lady. She does a podcast and she talks about jobs and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you have to treat your job like as a consulting business.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because jobs now, like you used to feel so secure back in the day.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
I've been at my job, I'm good. But now it's like question mark.
Mhm.
It don't
And
mean
so
anything.
now you have to approach, she said, she gave the example, your boss asks for a report. So you do the report,
Mhm.
but you go in and say, this is what I've done. This is how we can save money. Like, so you're basically going in and interviewing all over again to
Mhm.
try to keep your job and
Right.
consulting. So they will look at you in a different way so that hopefully you can keep your job.
Mhm. And
Like,
it's a shame
That's
because
terrible.
the other thing I want people to realize is like, yes, make yourself valuable, but don't be the person that your job heavily depends on, because
Right.
that's going to be a whole different level of
Oh,
stressor.
yeah.
Because everybody's going to continuously come to you like, oh, they got all the answers. Go to them. Go to them. Go to them. No, keep your boundaries. As we're talking about, make sure those are in line. But like you said, make sure that it's just like you are doing certain things where your job knows we have to keep that person, because we don't know. It might get to the point where we got to start, letting some people go.
Yeah.
Because of just how the economy is.
Mhm.
Which brings me to the next question for both of you, because both of you are parents, and we know that that's an added level of stress because you're dealing with your own.
Mhm.
You have work, you have friends, you have your significant other. And I mean, this could be a twofold, even when we talk about significant others. But how do you manage when even your child is going through something? Because they're experiencing something that they've never had before. We're talking about, okay, well, we had a pandemic. Now we're dealing with, the uncertainty of the economy due to the orange man in office, and all sorts of factors going on in school and with their peers. So how do you manage your stress plus what's going on with them and ensure that you're still showing up for them?
Oh, that's hard because I have experienced all that. And so I have to understand and make sure I'm in a good place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because regardless of what I'm feeling, that's my child, that's my baby. And so he's priority,
Mm-hmm.
so I can sweep whatever I got under the rug. I can put it in my little bag till I'm ready to deal with it. But I have to make sure he's okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they're exposed to all these things. Things are different from how we grew up. And so I have to make sure I protect him mentally and understand truly what's going on. So when I get home, hey, what's going on? So it's always that conversation. What is it that you need?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to get therapy involved? Just all those things. So it's a lot of conversation, a lot of talking, and I've dealt with that too. COVID did a lot. People talk about, people died. It was horrible. We were working from home, or, we couldn't see patients and things like that, but the kids suffered. Grades suffered, and I seen that in my own home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was tough because you're having to, I'm starting a new job, and I'm having to leave my son home, my kids home to, thankfully my husband is flexible enough, but he, could work from home. And so he was able to be there with them a lot. But it's tough. You have to figure out that balance. But for me, I can deal with whatever I'm dealing with, and I can be okay because I've done it enough. But when it comes to my baby, I gotta make sure they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's whatever. I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I will be all right. But I gotta make sure that they are good mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tough to be able to like switch gears and have to let it go, because whatever they're dealing with, you deal with it too.
Mm-hmm.
You have to carry that, and you have to understand what's going on, but also understand and know who your kid is, because that's important.
Mm-hmm.
As they grow up and as they age, they develop their own personality. So you got to know who you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids they're out, and you can put them in the middle of the woods with people you don't know and be fine. One is an introvert and, kind of in the shell a little bit. And so he'll find hanging with himself sometimes. You can put him in a room with people and you might find him over here, especially when he was younger, drawing.
I know that's right.
Not big on video games and stuff, but then you have one that's just like playful and doing, so you have to really know who your kid is. But that's also, about building relationships and things like that with your children. But again, it's making sure they're okay and whatever they need at the moment, we're going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard because you still got to deal with you
Right.
and everybody else. But that baby girl,
Mm-hmm.
I don't play about my kids now. And my babies.
You asked me too?
Yeah.
The biggest thing is making sure home is a safe space for them.
Mm-hmm.
It can help decrease their stress.
Yep.
Because kids stress, as we know, we grew up and we thought the world was everything that was happening at high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need a break from that.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I try to do, even with the kids that are not mine at school, because they act like they're mine, is at least make sure like when they come into my room, it's a safe space where they could just decompress from the laptops, the computers, the social media for just a minute and just be a kid.
Yes.
Because so much stuff is stripping them of that.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing I've realized, even as a parent, especially with my oldest, you can't force the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of parents attempt to force the conversation, then cause stress on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, why aren't you talking to me? But when the atmosphere is comfortable enough and you've built the relationship with your child, they will talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so to prevent yourself from stressing out, you want to continue to have that two-way street of communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because it will help you, because as a parent, as you're saying, the last thing you want to be doing is guessing while you're stressing. So you over here stressing about you, but then you also like, something's wrong with my kid and they ain't saying nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's imperative, and even with my two that are in Pittsburgh, it's imperative for them to know that there's a door that you can walk through to talk to me, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to take, like you said, I'm not going to take my stressors and be like, what? I ain't got time for this shit. Like,
I'll always take that sometimes.
So, because even with Yara being so young, like, she don't give a damn how bad that day is. She announces the hug. I want a hug, and she'll say, I want all the love, and then she'll sit on your lap, and even though you're mad, you're thinking, damn, kid, but you got to do it.
Right.
You know
But
what I
that
mean?
makes you feel like,
Yeah.
That's the mother side. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that. I was just gonna say, sometimes you just be like, all right, because but every now and again it'll hit you with that. That's what you needed too.
Right. Yeah.
Because the kids, the biggest thing about the stress thing also is not bringing it home so much, because the kids feel it.
Yeah.
And then when they feel your stress, then they isolate themselves.
Yes.
And so that's the biggest thing, to not allow stress to even come through the door heavy and hard, because then the kids will be like, I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
Because you. And then you're like, oh, is that my face? Because they do it to me all the time. Why your face look like that? Oh, I didn't know. Like, I'm sorry.
And my son would call me, Mom, you didn't even speak. And I'm like, because I'm tired. I mean, no. Because every day when I get home, usually they're home before me. And I would say, how was school? I pick them up. How was school today? So those moments that you find, like say,
so much.
It does. And honestly, it means so much for me to be able to pick my kids up from school. Like, it's almost like they're almost 16 and 17. And I'm like, oh, I'm picking them up from school. I would find joy in that. And I still do. And because I can't do that often. But also, like I said, it's about relationship too. You have to make sure you have a relationship with your kid, because my son and I would know him like a book, walk out, and I could tell the body language. And so some days it's like, oh, Jesus, here we go. So I have to prepare myself mentally when I see this body language walk out of school, because I'm like, I know something wrong. And I'll be like, hey, how was, school? How was practice? All right. Well, what's going on? And so you just allow that minute, and then they'll start talking. Or someday there have been days I'm like, you ain't right with your dad.
Which brings me to my next question about significant other and spouses. When you've had too much, how do you have that balance with the two of you in your relationship to make sure that you're not putting too much on them and they're not putting too much on you? Where is there even a balance when it comes to marriage and relationship? Oh, okay. All right.
It is so hard to get that balance, because, for me, my husband, he takes them to school, and he generally, pick them up. If they have practice or workout, like one stays after school, some days I'll have to pick him up while he take the other one to basketball practice. And so Or even like Saturdays, we have football and basketball. So we're going this place and one going the other place. And I know it's tough for him, and it's hard because I'm not as flexible as he is. And then I know it's a lot of things that he would want to do, and that's kind of stressful for him. And it's nothing I can really do about it because there's nothing I can do. And so, you know, I think we communicate well. Probably could be a little bit better on my end because sometimes I just don't want to talk. So I might be feeling something or thinking something. I just don't want to have a conversation about it just because I just don't feel like it right now. And so I just put it in my little luggage bag and we'll figure it out later, or it'll be all right. So I just don't know if there is a true balance because, you know, and I heard this one day, in a marriage, there's not going to always be 50-50. Some days there'll be, you give 20 and I give 80. There's always an unbalance. And as long as you know that and you can communicate out through it, I think it'll be okay. But when you feel like there's a breaking point, especially for men, then that's essential where you talk to your spouse and say, let's figure something else out. Maybe we can refigure out like who's doing something as simple as folding the laundry and putting it in, or unloading the dishwasher or something, So I think it really boils down to communication, but it's hard. I don't think there is going to ever be a balance.
No.
No, there's no. I don't believe in balance. And I've said it before, like people who look for reciprocity in relationships, that's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's reciprocal. Like, so reciprocity is because you've done, I've done, and I expect equal. That ain't happening. And I don't care what relationship, it's not happening. But reciprocal, like if you think about like sawing, two people on the end of a sawing a tree, sometimes it's gonna be more on your side. Sometimes I got to pull and it's going to be more on my side, but the goal is to chop the tree. So that's more what a relationship is going to be like. Here. And then we got to talk, because if I get tired, you're going to have to pull a little bit more. And if you get tired, I got to push a little bit more. But to think that there's ever going to be like a balance where we're both, you good, I'm good, we both good, that's going to be rare. But if you both get that, somebody's going to sleep. Both parties like, we both good? Yeah, all right. It's sleep. You know what I'm saying? Because it when you're running a household and both people are active inside of this household and there's children, those are all different personalities in one spot that have to coexist. And no, everybody's not on the same page at the same time. It does not exist. But like you said, the thing that does help is the communication. And as a man, what I have learned more was the more I communicated, the more I got from my partner, because it wasn't a guessing game. You know what I'm saying? And especially when both parties are working, ain't nobody got, like you said, ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time to be guessing. Tell me what's going on so that we can either table it and come back, or we might have a solution that's right here. But because you holding on to it like, no, I'm mad. I just want you to know that I'm mad. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know what I mean? And I believe that as you mature with a person and you grow to know them, you also see the nonverbals. Like I can see when Chiquita is exhausted. And I know, oh, okay, let me go get the kid. You know what I'm saying? I can see when she's had enough. And it's like, come on, baby, before we both get cussed out. You know, let mommy sleep. You know what I'm saying? But, that's the ebb and flow of a relationship. And it's necessary. And I think both parties, but especially men, you got to tap in more with, your woman, because as much as we want to say, well, men and the dad and all, yeah. But the default person when you have children is mom. And so every now and again, you got to go, hey, come here, sit down. Yeah. Because mom needs a break.
Kids are short enough to be like,
right.
And I'm
the default is mom.
You can call your father.
I hear it at least once a night. Did you walk past him to ask me that?
He said, Mom.
Did you walk past him and ask me? And she'll come back. Mom said, I'm like, I was right here the whole time. But it's just the default is to go to mom. And so, when you do that and you start to, once again, the ebb and flow relationship, if you can release mom of some of the stress, then okay, then now let me pick this up. And then mom probably picks something else up. You know what I mean? The one thing that we also have to learn how to do is sit down.
Yeah.
Because usually in a relationship and you're talking about kids, there's always something to do.
It is.
So then now you may give somebody some time, and the next thing you know, you see them go to the grocery store. And it's like, sit your ass down.
Right.
So I have to do things like that with Chiquita as a reminder. Like, just because you got time doesn't mean you fill it with something.
Right.
And that's how you like, please sit down. You just walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I see this, I see that need to be done. And I just do it. And I don't, make a big fuss about it because one, that's energy expenditure that I don't have. So I would just go on and do it and it doesn't bother me, right? When before kids and husband and all that stuff, I was like, everything had a place. This ink pen, I pick it up, it's going right back into place. And my cousin said, after my first son, she said, you ain't gonna be able to keep the house clean. And I'm
Ever
like,
again.
I don't know what she talking about. Oh, I know what she talking about now. So.
Ever again.
And you do. You just, some things you just let go. And so I what's priority?
Right.
I make sure everybody eat. I don't cook during the week though.
I know that's right.
So they figure it out if they're gonna eat up all the food. I make sure laundry. I do my laundry and my husband's. Kids for themselves. You better make sure you got clean drawers. Because if you don't, it's on you because you didn't wash. So, so I prepared them when they were young. Middle school, you can wash your own clothes. They wear uniforms, so you know what you're wearing every day.
Right.
You don't have anything to wear, so you didn't wash. But that's just part of like putting responsibility on them too. So little things like washing the dishes, loading the dishwasher, taking the trash out. There's one thing I don't do. But I've learned to just what's important. I make sure we eat and clothes is washed and they got towels to wash their stinking boots.
I know that's right.
And that's a big thing. Like we talked about it, like with the Papa's House episode being canceled. I think we need to get back to times when we just sit down.
Yes.
Like a lot of, like we were saying, and I still feel the way Damon Wayans' show got canceled because the time of 8:00, the programs come on and you sit down and everything's done and all that doesn't exist in the households anymore. So people are running, and then we catch the shows when we can, or you try to catch up when we can. So that idea of programming to, okay, it's 8:00 and it's Cosby time. Remember, 8:00 was Cosby, Different World was 8:30, you know what I'm saying, on Thursday night. You can do that. Def Comedy Jam was 9:00 on Saturdays. You sat down, but that doesn't happen anymore. People are like, I'll binge watch on Sunday. You know what I mean?
When I can.
Or when I can. So I think we should get back to that because there was that, you figure that was time when one family connected and people kind of forgot about the stress of the day.
The rest.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And I think that is a good point. And my next question was going to be, and bringing everything full circle is just how do we get back to releasing some of the stress? And like you said, I think taking the time to actually sit down, and just saying like, yes, the dishes need to be done, even though I won't do my dishes. But yes, I need laundry, but it can wait. I've been ripping and running this whole entire time. My anxiety's here, my stress is here. Let me just sit for a moment, get lost in the show, find something good to eat, and just sit and be. And then you realize how it's just like, oh, everything is okay.
And I've learned that, like even just these last couple of weeks, I usually, because my days are just crazy. But I learned like when I get home, I just don't. I wear uniforms a lot, so I just throw them all in the washing machine together. White socks, it don't matter. Throw it all in there, and it's done. And then tomorrow I might throw another load. So now I'm not waiting till one day to wash all these clothes, and then the kids got their laundry to do, and all these things. And we have a good dishwasher, and hey, we need you to put the dishes in the sink. Unload this one, unload whatever. So I start delegating because now they're old enough, and so I definitely take time to sit down for a minute. It ain't long, but I do.
I'm getting better, but I had a problem with that.
Yeah, you did.
But I'm getting better.
I never had a problem with
No, you don't. Somebody got to tell you to get up. But yeah, sitting down has now become a thing so that, you can reset.
You do.
I'm actually even taking naps now because I never took a nap ever. But now I'm like, 3:30.
Listen, get you a good weighted blanket.
I was talking to my stepdaughter last night. She was like, well, it was like after 9. She said, well, I know it's your bedtime.
And
Yes,
Yeah.
And is.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Okay.
The joke from the comedy show made me laugh when she said, how many of y'all tired right now? Because it was about like 10:30.
Yes.
Everybody clapped. She's like, damn, this must be the over 40 crowd. And
It
it
is.
Yeah.
Listen.
Next time it'll be earlier.
It used to be so bad. Like, I could be sitting here, and by the time you get to the door, eyes closed, and I'm out.
But that's exhaustion.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people don't realize that there should be a gradual, and on TV talks about it. When you go to sleep, you should be gradually going to sleep. It shouldn't be as soon as your head hits the pillow, you're knocked out. That means exhaustion.
Yep.
Your body has gotten to the point where it's like, bitch, sit down. You know? Like, I'm tired. You know, and people are starting to normalize that of like, oh, well, I went straight to sleep. No, your body is telling you that you are exhausted.
And then, some people, and I tell them, you can't sleep well. Like, my husband's a night hawk. He loves the heat. It's just who he's always been. So he's up late and then he's up early. So he's, not sleeping long hours. And I'm like, then I don't sleep long either because I got to wake up because you moving around.
Right.
But, I tell people you have to, even like you go to, work or whatever you do, you got to have like a sleep habit too. So do whatever you want to do. Go lay down, turn your TV off, like have a whole process to make sure you're getting the plenty of sleep that you need. Because if your body isn't like rejuvenating itself and replenishing and getting all the, juices and berries going, you're not going to be any good for tomorrow. And this is why your body breaks down, because you're not giving yourself the proper rest.
And then why some people be out here looking like they're 87 years old when they're only 40.
Yeah.
Get your life. So speaking of get your life, tell them how Embodi can help with getting their life.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have these amazing IV vitamin drips that will definitely help you feel better. It's all vitamins, so it goes straight to your cells. It's going to help you sleep well too. Magnesium is in one of them, which the Revitalize. So if you want a book, that's the one to do. But that helps calm you. So magnesium is definitely a great medication or vitamin that goes. It's not even a vitamin, but that goes into the IV drip. That's definitely helpful for relaxation, calming your nerves and things like that. So these drips, any one that you choose, truly is phenomenal in helping with that.
Oh, that's right.
And
then the facial.
Oh, the facial. Oh, yeah. You can get the facial and drip combo. So while you're getting your drip, you're getting this nice old facial that's going to help to strip your skin of all that nastiness, helps to exfoliate your skin and put some good moisture into your skin. So not only are you filling yourself up with good vitamins and nutrients, you're also cleansing your skin, getting your pores open, and it just really, really leaves your skin looking like as if you've aged a couple of years backwards.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And how do they work?
Go online, www.embodihydration.com.
I know.
And it's the Glow 2 Facial, the Glow Facial Deluxe.
Boom.
And you get some red light therapy.
And the one thing that I love about your practice as well is that, it's intimate. So even when you do schedule your appointment, as you should, and you get your drip and your facial, it's very private. So you need to take that time for you. Yeah. I would hope that when people get their drips that they fall asleep or at least take the time to just close their eyes.
Listen, you get recliner, you get the massager on.
Hello?
Spa music, you can turn the lights out. That's what we do.
And just take that time for you.
Yes.
So if
you need it.
Don't learn anything else from this show, from this month, because the conversation will continue, tomorrow with On TV, is that it's so important to take care of yourself, because number one, nobody else is going to do it. Right. And then two, it's a necessity. Just overall, just for your overall health, for your mental, and then even incorporating working out. You heard from the two young ladies that we had on your show last month, and how they express the importance of movement and working out and how that can lower your stress and anxiety levels. So, we gotta take care
of yourself. Number one.
And men do it too.
Please.
Because I do see women doing it. Even like the little Southern soul thing I DJ. What number of women out there?
Really? No man.
One.
Huh.
Each day was only one guy.
Did he come with a woman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There we go. I got a question about that, but we'll talk about that out there.
So yeah, so all that, and the fellowship also helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Having a community helps.
Yes.
with,
Absolutely.
reducing stress. So men, when we sit in the house not doing anything by ourselves, you might need to get a community.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. And I talked about that too. You do need a community, not just anybody. People that really and truly can pour into you and that you can pour into. That's truly not, you don't need somebody that's going to call and, you're calling to talk about your issues and she taking over the because she got like, no, it needs to be, it needs to be where you can, hey, I need prayer. And sometimes it's not what's going on. It's, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of community.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So do that, guys. It helps.
Yeah. So with that being said, make sure that you go and check out Dr. Jans.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourself because you only got one body. And then next month we'll be back. We'll see what we'll talk about. But regardless, it's going to be about overall health and taking care of yourself. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out to Dr. Jans. If you go to her website, you're not talking to anybody else but her. So.
Social media questions, feel free to ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and go see Sinners.
I'm glad you liked it. I was going to ask you about that too.
Absolutely loved it. I'm going to go see it again.
Yeah, me too.
Because there's things that I missed that I need to go back and see.
I'm like,
you didn't like it?
It was decent. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I didn't even know the movie existed. My son just said, let's go to the movies. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, dope movie.
Phenomenal.
I stayed awake.
There we go, because it was a 2+ hour movie.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yes,
So that
yes.
is.
The movie theater we went to, the damn lights went off.
Oh.
Wait, what you mean?
What is that?
Right? Literally, as we were watching the movie, poof.
So the whole.
The whole thing shut off.
You didn't see the whole end?
I had to go home and finish it there.
Oh.
They did give you a refund or something.
They gave us tickets to come back and see it. And it was the messed up part. We got ready to book it because while we were sitting there, they said you can wait. Hopefully the lights come back.
Yeah.
Because it happened during a thunderstorm that hit Raleigh on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And so literally, poof, everything went out. And it went out right at a particular time where one of the black people in there said, Jesus? And she was like, are we supposed to be watching this? Because it literally was like, pow. And it was kind of eerie the way it went out because it was during the specific scene. I don't do spoilers, so I won't do that. But then, there's a spoiler. Two of the non-African American people got up and somebody said, sit down.
That's right.
Here.
That's right.
Everybody, the whole movie theater started laughing. So we all collectively waited. Then the dude came in like, we don't think it's going to be any time. Duke Energy had called them and said it was a wrap. So I had to finish it at home. But it was a good flick.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Great writing, great storytelling, and it was everything that we possibly could have asked for as a Black collective when we say we want to take up spaces in these movies as far as like horror, thriller, having people of different hues and colors. Like Ryan has done his thing, and I'm so glad not only did he make his money back, but they have exceeded numbers in the box office. So
that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so good for them. Like that was a dope movie. So we'll talk about it more tomorrow. So
because I got 2 other movies that I want to talk about.
Yeah, I can't watch that many movies. I'll be asleep. I was surprised I made it that far.
That part.
I said, all right, now let's get to the get. And once it got to the got, poof, I'm like,
well, what part did it go on?
When Cornbread went outside.
Shut up! You missed the entire movie.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah,
so
you missed
Cornbread
the entire
got
movie.
outside, and then he got ready to come back in. It cut off right there.
And I also love that it was comedic humor. Because when he said, nigga, you shot me. Goodness. So phenomenal movie. Go see it. And if you need to, go see it twice because I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, I'm going to go check it out again. Okay. TDS Radio. Our voice, our culture. See y'all tomorrow.
Bye.